Usually when we talk about a medical diagnosis, there's this expectation of absolute precision.
Right.
It feels almost like engineering. I mean, you
Yeah.
break your arm, the X-ray shows that jagged white line, and the doctor points to the screen and says, well, there it is. There's your problem.
It's binary. And honestly, I think it's comforting. We like things to be visible,
Yeah.
to be easily categorized into broken or not broken.
Yeah, exactly. But then you step into the world of neurodevelopment or degenerative diseases, and suddenly that X-ray machine is just useless.
Yeah.
We're looking at a diagnostic landscape that is entirely murky.
Completely murky.
And that murky water is exactly where our sources for today are taking us. If you're joining us for this deep dive, we are pulling apart a pretty fascinating AI News Digest dated July 19th, 2026.
It's a great one.
It really is. Because what we're seeing in this digest is a massive shift. Artificial intelligence is moving way beyond, just being a novelty on your phone. And it is stepping in to clear up those murky waters across some of our most complex human problems.
I'm really looking forward to unpacking this with you because the through line in these sources isn't just about faster computers.
Right.
It's about how this technology is being applied to fundamentally change how we perceive the world around us. And that starts with the microscopic landscape of the human brain, because knowledge is most valuable when it's actually understood and applied.
So true. Well, let's start right there. The digest highlights a story about Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah.
Researchers at a leading university have developed a new AI system that detects early signs of Alzheimer's from brain scans with a level of accuracy that is, well, it's essentially unprecedented.
Unprecedented and, more importantly, invisible.
Hmm.
The system uses machine learning algorithms to spot subtle patterns in those scans that the human eye simply cannot see.
Wait, I need to pause you there because I want to make sure I really understand the mechanics of this. When you say invisible to the human eye, what is the AI actually looking at?
That's a great question.
Because a human doctor looks at an MRI, and I mean, they are highly trained. Is the AI just seeing a sharper image or what?
No, it's not about sharpness. It's about microstructural relationships. Think about what an MRI actually is.
Okay.
It's a three-dimensional map made up of millions of tiny data points, which we call voxels. A human doctor, no matter how brilliant they are, is trained to look for established markers.
Like a big stuff.
Exactly. They are looking for macro-level atrophy or significant plaque buildup. It's the medical equivalent of that jagged white line on an X-ray you mentioned earlier.
The obvious damage, yeah.
Exactly, the damage that has already progressed significantly. But the AI isn't looking for the gaping wound.
Oh, I see.
It is analyzing the density and the structural integrity of tissue, voxel by voxel, across millions of data points simultaneously.
Wow.
Yeah, it is looking for microscopic variations in how different regions of the brain are interacting. These are statistical correlations that indicate cognitive decline years before any physical atrophy becomes visible to a human radiologist.
Okay, let's unpack this. It almost sounds like looking at a massive pointillism painting.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. Up close, a human doctor is staring at a brain scan and just sees millions of random dots of data. We simply don't have the biological hardware to process that much simultaneous microdata and, connect the dots.
Right. Our brains just aren't built for that.
Exactly. But the AI can instantly step back, process all those millions of data points at once, and see the hidden picture. It sees the edges of the shapes that we can't.
That is a phenomenal analogy. The AI sees the trajectory of the dots rather than just the dots themselves.
Trajectory, yeah.
It's looking for the whisper of the damage that is coming rather than the shout of the damage that is already there.
That's incredibly powerful. But let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
Does early detection even matter if we don't have a magic cure? I mean, if we can't reverse Alzheimer's, isn't this AI just telling a patient bad news 5 years earlier than they would have gotten it otherwise?
That is the most critical question we have to ask. And the answer fundamentally changes the geometry of Alzheimer's care. You are correct that right now we do not have a silver bullet that reverses the disease.
Right.
So when we talk about effective intervention, we are talking about slowing the progression, flattening the curve of cognitive decline.
Okay, I'm with you.
If you wait until the human eye can see the damage, the macroatrophy, the window for those targeted treatments to be truly effective is incredibly narrow.
Because the house is already on fire.
Exactly. The house is on fire.
Yeah.
But if this AI system can spot the trajectory years beforehand, it changes the one metric in neurodegenerative care that you absolutely cannot buy.
Which is time.
Time. It isn't just a diagnostic tool. It is practically a time machine for patients and their families.
Wow. A time machine.
Think about it. If you can start those progression-slowing interventions 5 years earlier, you are buying a patient 5 more years of recognizing their grandchildren. 5 more years of independent living. It buys families time to prepare, both financially and emotionally. It turns a historically reactive, sort of powerless medical strategy into a proactive one.
When you put it like that, it takes that murky, terrifying diagnostic landscape and adds a profound level of hope to it.
It really does.
But I want to pivot here, because the digest doesn't just stay in the hospital. It takes this exact same concept, using AI to find hidden patterns in chaotic data, and points it at the entire planet.
Moving from the micro observer to the macro observer.
Exactly. Here's where it gets really interesting. The digest brings up two completely different environments, right? The remote wilderness and the concrete jungle.
Two extremes.
Right. First, scientists are deploying AI-powered drones to monitor endangered wildlife in remote habitats.
Okay.
And second, a tech consortium is launching an initiative to optimize urban energy consumption by analyzing weather patterns.
Let's start with the wildlife, because on the surface, that sounds like a contradiction.
That is exactly my issue with this. You say these drones are acting as silent guardians of biodiversity, but isn't introducing a fleet of lithium-powered buzzing machines into a pristine ecosystem inherently disruptive?
You'd think so, yeah.
How are conservationists justifying the physical footprint of this tech in a fragile habitat?
Well, it's a very valid concern, but you have to compare it to the alternative.
Okay.
Traditionally, how do we track endangered, highly camouflaged animals in a dense jungle?
I mean, I assume biologists hike out there, set up camera traps, look for footprints, that sort of thing.
Right. It requires teams of humans trudging miles through the brush,
Hacking paths.
hacking paths, introducing foreign scents, and just physically disturbing the undergrowth. It is slow, it is exhausting, and it is actually highly invasive to the animals.
That makes sense.
So the drones replace that brute force method. And to your point about the buzzing, this is where the AI computer vision changes the game entirely.
How so? Because they still have to, fly over the animals.
Yes, but the advanced computer vision means they don't have to fly low.
Oh, I see.
Before AI, a drone would need to get really close to the canopy for a human operator to distinguish a specific endangered ape from just a shadow.
Right, because everything just looks green from up there.
Exactly. But now the drone can fly at a much higher altitude, making it virtually silent to the animals below.
Oh, wow.
The AI uses thermal imaging and algorithmic pixel matching to isolate the specific shape and heat signature of the animal through the breaks in the canopy. It can track a whole population from thousands of feet up, processing the visual chaos of the jungle instantly.
So it's the pointillism painting again.
Yes.
The human operator just sees a blur of green leaves and shadows.
Yeah.
But the AI instantly processes the micro variations in pixels and says, oh, there's a jaguar.
Exactly. It structures the chaos without ever snapping a twig on the jungle floor.
Okay, that makes total sense. But then the digest takes this pattern recognition power and drops it into a modern city.
Right.
The story notes that AI models are analyzing massive data sets, weather patterns, real-time energy usage, to make adjustments to an urban energy grid, which reduces waste and carbon footprints.
Which is another perfect example of managing a chaotic system. I mean, human behavior in a city is wildly unpredictable.
Wait, I want to make sure I grasp the mechanism here. How does analyzing the weather actually prevent energy waste on a grid level? Or are we talking about the city just, turning off streetlights?
No, it's much deeper than that. Think about how a city generates power right now. It's incredibly reactionary.
Because they don't know who is going to turn on a light switch.
Exactly. Because grid operators can't perfectly predict when 1 million people will suddenly turn on their air conditioning. They have to overproduce power just in case.
Right.
They keep power plants running on standby. They call them spinning reserves. It is a massive, constant waste of energy.
So it's like a restaurant kitchen. If you don't know how many people are walking in the door, you just have to keep cooking food and throwing it away just so you don't run out.
That is exactly it. But imagine if that restaurant kitchen had an AI that could see a convention letting out down the street, cross-reference it with the temperature outside, and know that exactly 400 people are going to walk in and order soup in 20 minutes.
Ah, I see. It's predictive load balancing.
Precisely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the AI acts as a central nervous system for the city.
Wow.
It sees a cold front moving in on the weather radar. It compares that meteorological data to decades of historical human behavior in that specific zip code.
So it knows the exact moment demand will spike.
Yes. So it microscopically adjusts the grid before the strain happens. It might pre-cool massive industrial buildings during off-peak hours so they don't draw power during the surge.
It's prepping the ingredients an hour before the dinner rush.
Yes. It calculates efficiencies at a speed human operators simply cannot match. We cannot manually adjust a million thermostats or route power block by block based on a sudden shift in wind direction.
But the AI can.
The AI can. It turns a static, wasteful machine into a dynamic organism that reacts to its environment in real time.
The scale of that is staggering. From the microscopic synapses in a single patient's brain scan to the macro grid of a metropolis, we're using the exact same technology to optimize our physical reality.
It's incredible.
Which brings us to the final story in the digest. And I think this one requires a totally different lens because we are moving away from biology and physics and stepping into entirely subjective territory.
The entertainment industry, art and emotion.
Right. Up to this point, we've established that AI can do math. It can process biological data, it can process weather data. But the digest highlights a startup that just released a new AI tool for music creation.
Yeah.
And the source specifically notes that musicians are absolutely praising it. They are calling it a collaborator that inspires new ideas and pushes creative boundaries.
Which contradicts a lot of the cultural anxiety we have right now.
Totally. I mean, the collective fear is that a robot is going to take the artist's job, spit out a finished soulless pop song, and humanity is obsolete.
Right. That's the headline everyone worries about.
Exactly. So what does this all mean? Because this sounds less like a robot taking your job and more like having a brilliant, tireless session musician in the studio with you.
And that shift from AI as a cold calculator to AI as an active collaborator raises an important question about how we define creativity in the first place.
But how does it actually inspire? Because the machine doesn't have a broken heart. It hasn't lived a life. It doesn't know what it feels like to be human. How can it collaborate on human art?
Well, let's use your session musician analogy. What does a great session musician do when you're stuck in a studio?
Let's say I'm writing a song and I'm stuck on a C minor chord progression. I've used it 100 times, it feels stale, but my hands just naturally go to those shapes on the piano because, it's comfortable. I'm in a rut.
Exactly. Human beings, even the most brilliant artists, have habits. We fall into ruts. We rely on the same linguistic tricks or chord structures because of muscle memory. A good session musician listens to what you're doing and introduces a variable you hadn't considered. They say, well, what if we try a microtonal shift here? Or what if we substitute this weird jazz chord?
They break the creative friction.
Yes, they introduce controlled novelty. And that is what this AI tool does, but on an exponential scale. It has instant access to every musical scale, every harmonic deviation, every rhythmic pattern ever recorded in human history.
That's a lot of variables.
Exactly. So when the human artist hits that wall with their C minor progression, the AI can instantly suggest a dozen micro-deviations that a human logically wouldn't have reached for.
So it shatters the rut.
It shatters the rut. But here is the crucial distinction, and this is why the musicians in the digest are praising it rather than fearing it. The human ingenuity remains the core driver.
Because the AI is not feeling the heartbreak.
Right. The AI doesn't know why the song matters.
It's just doing the math of the harmony.
Precisely. The human brings the soul, the intent, the lived experience. The AI just serves as an amplifier. It removes the blank page syndrome. It's a brainstorming partner that never gets tired, never gets frustrated, and never runs out of ideas.
That really forces you to reevaluate what it means to be a creator in this new era. I mean, if the AI is handling the heavy lifting of suggesting the harmonies or generating the raw options, the human artist is elevated to the role of a curator.
A curator, I like that.
Yeah, a director of emotion. You are the one sifting through the AI's mathematical suggestions and choosing the exact one that resonates with the human heart. It doesn't dilute the art, it actually makes it more expansive because you aren't limited by your own technical habits anymore.
The human provides the why, and the AI provides the how. It perfectly complements human ingenuity.
I love that. The human provides the why. Let's synthesize all of this because we've covered a tremendous amount of ground from this one daily digest.
We really have.
When we started this deep dive, we talked about AI moving past the tech novelty phase. And looking at these sources, it is undeniable that AI is redefining our approach to incredibly complex problems.
It has become a foundational layer to our problem solving.
It really has. I mean, it is the invisible detective in our healthcare, finding the whispers of Alzheimer's in the microstructure of our brains before a human doctor ever could.
Right.
It is the high-altitude guardian in our remote habitats, structuring the chaos of a jungle to protect endangered species without disturbing a single leaf.
Yes.
It is the predictive engine in our cities, turning our concrete grids into dynamic organisms that balance their own energy diet to fight climate change. And finally, it is the ultimate session musician in our studios, pushing human artists past their own habits into new frontiers of creativity.
It's optimizing our health, our environment, our physical infrastructure, and our cultural output, all through the power of recognizing patterns we simply cannot see.
And for you listening, thank you so much for joining us on this Deep Dive. Hopefully unpacking this digest has given you a few aha moments to carry with you and a clearer lens through which to view the news. Keep exploring the incredible potential of this technology because it is reshaping the world right in front of us, voxel by voxel, city by city.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Something that builds on everything we've unpacked today, from the brain scans to the electrical grids.
Okay, let's hear it.
If AI becomes this deeply embedded in our physical health, our environment, and our culture, at what point does it stop being a tool we pull out of our toolbox and start becoming an invisible infrastructure we completely depend on, much like electricity itself? And if we reach a point where our cities, our medical diagnoses, and even our art are all inextricably linked to this invisible intelligence, what happens to a society if that infrastructure suddenly unplugs? We started today talking about the comfort of a clear X-ray, of a human being able to see the jagged white line. But as we rely more and more on AI to see the invisible for us, are we losing the ability to read the bones ourselves?